shine like truth in all you do. And then I remember me. You can save me from the way I tend to be. The way I tend to be. The way I tend to be.
Whoa!
The way I tend to look at this microphone.
You can say that again.
The way... I'm not going to say it again.
Well, you could have said it again.
That's true.
But since there's a microphone, here it goes. My name is Stephen Johnston.
My name is Jesse Titus.
And this is American Brews and Tunes.
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity beeby dow.
Man, that theme song never gets old.
It sure doesn't.
I wish that was the ringtone to make me wake up in the morning for my alarm, but unfortunately it's not.
You know what? That is really unfortunate, actually. If anybody knows how to do that...
I know how to do it.
Oh.
I just didn't.
Steve knows how to do that, so maybe he'll do that for his ringtone.
Maybe, but that's too much work. My ringtone's nice and peaceful, but...
Wait, what's your ringtone again? It's
Our God is an Awesome God by Rich Mullins. But
but it's like on
just
piano,
all
right?
piano version. So peaceful. And then an
So
organ comes
funny.
in, and that's what wakes me up.
Really?
Oh, that gets me every time. But like we said before, my name's Stephen Johnston.
And my name is Jesse Titus.
And this is the very special 21st episode of American Brews and Tunes. And why is it special, you say?
Yeah, why is it special?
For all those who have listened before, you know, but for everyone else, which is pretty much everyone else in the world, pretty much everyone in general in the world, this is our 21st episode of American Brews and Tunes.
So,
happy 21st! Wow!
Yeah, happy 21st episode to us.
Yeah.
So that means that our podcast
can legally drink beer. Yeah.
So
we had
what did we do? What are we doing tonight that's different than most other episodes? Or
Well-
all other episodes?
Well, instead of drinking awesome craft beers that we never had before, we're drinking the beers that we had for our first legal brew.
Yep.
Which is, we'll touch upon that in a second, but as far as music goes, we listen to albums that have even the vaguest reference to drinking.
To alcohol.
Yeah. So we, just for funsies, because it's the 21st.
Mine might have been a little bit more vague.
Jesse's was the
but-
vaguest.
The vaguest of vague.
Vague. You say vaguest.
Vague, yeah.
But I say vaguest.
Sounds like you're saying Las Vegas.
Yeah, but vague, when you put a T at the end, vaguest.
Vague, yeah.
Anyways, that's your weird Minnesota accent.
Minnesota isms.
Yeah. Anyhow, for the past 2 weeks, I have been listening to an album that doesn't have anything to do with drinking, pretty much.
Yeah, I know.
Called Reunion by Fiction Family.
Yep.
There's a little bit of an alcohol reference, perhaps, in there, but
maybe
not super on the nose.
Or so I thought.
Yeah. But what have you been listening to?
I've been listening to the album called Turn the Radio Off by the band Real Big Fish.
I'm pretty sure there's a song called Beer on there.
Yeah, I think there's a reference to beer in this album.
I feel like
on the song called Beer.
I feel like that's a very good reason that this album is way more beer related. But that's okay. That's okay.
It definitely is.
We'll come back to the albums. Let's go to the brew portion, since in the term American Brews and Tunes, the brew comes before the tunes.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? That's a great point. Maybe
that is a great point. So
why don't we?
Let's introduce our beers and then talk about our first legal drink. So I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have the classic American lager that
I believe it's the king of beers. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's the king. Well, it says king of beers. Now,
if you don't know what that means, then who are you?
You're either not American, or actually, probably anybody who drinks beers knows that that's their slogan.
Yeah, I feel like this is even more than just American.
This is from Anheuser-Busch. Man, I've talked to multiple people from different countries, and man, do they not like American lagers like this one.
All
the macro breweries, anyway.
Yeah, it's a cheap lager.
Very, very cheap lager.
Generally, an adjunct lager is what they call them. I don't know if you've heard that term before.
No.
It's usually a reference to like the macro lagers, which use like other grains such as rice or corn instead of the grains and wheat. Yeah. So what is it that you're drinking?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'm drinking a Budweiser, and the crowd goes silent.
Just kidding. Budweiser's not that bad.
But of course, this is Budweiser and not Bud Light. So
yeah, Budweiser's way better than Bud Light.
A little bit better.
Tell us a story about your first drink.
Well, my first drink, I believe it was at my brother's house. I think he was living in St. Paul at the time. I can't remember what street he was living on, but
St. Paul, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Shout out St. Paul. What up?
I was singing a Johnny Cash song.
Oh yeah,
Big
Is
River.
He's probably singing about the Mississippi.
In St. Paul, Minnesota.
Probably singing about the Mississippi.
I don't know.
Big River. The
Oh,
biggest one in America.
I never even thought about that. Yeah, I've listened to this song for a long time, but I never thought about that. Classic.
hilarious.
You learn something new about Johnny Cash every day.
Yeah, well, not every day, but
If you like
Most
Johnny
days.
Cash, you probably learn something new about him every day.
most days. But I think I was just over at his house for, I think maybe he had like just moved in, and we were like going over there to play Catan or something like
Settlers
that.
of Catan, for those of you who
Settlers
don't know.
of Catan, yeah.
Strategy game.
Or some. I was over there for some reason.
Yeah.
And he had a 12-pack of Budweiser, and he was like, "Do you want a beer, Jesse?"
It was your 21st,
And I was like,
right?
It wasn't my 21st birthday, but I was 21.
Okay, so you didn't
And I
have a
was
beer on
like-
your 21st.
Maybe I did. No, I didn't have any beer on my 21st. I think my 21st was spent at Dan Knutson's house,
Okay.
and we got like really bad apple and butterscotch schnapps,
Oh, gosh.
and just drank those.
Okay, so
It was real
so
bad.
your first
but-
legal
so my first
beer was Budweiser. Okay,
Yes,
just at your
my-
brother's
my-
house.
My first legal drink was an attempt at a caramel apple schnapps. It was so
Well,
bad.
I guess why not? Am I right? I hope it was in the.
pretty gross.
I was about to say I hope it was in the fall, but it was in.
It was in the summer, so-
Yeah, summer. So that's because caramel apple seems like the fall to me.
Well, yeah, that is a
Summer's-
big fall thing.
I don't really know what a good summer cocktail would be, but not caramel apple schnapps.
Probably the cinnamon sunrise, the one that I made.
Yeah, Jesse invented a cocktail called the Cinnamon Sunrise, which is angry. No, it's Fireball mixed with orange juice.
Yeah, mixed with OJ.
Actually, kind of good if you make it.
It wasn't too
If
bad.
you add the proportions right, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So is that the whole story about your illegal drink?
Yeah, I think that was it. I had the Budweiser, and I was like, oh, this is okay.
Well,
And that was pretty much it.
my first legal beer's a little lighter than yours. It was born in the Rockies,
Oh, wow.
if that makes sense.
That can is blue. Those mountains are kind of a little bit blue there, aren't
Yeah,
they?
I know that there was some scandal involved with one of their head brewers owners at one point in time. He
Really?
got kidnapped.
What?
Adolf Coors, the second or third, whatever he was,
Yeah.
got kidnapped and held for ransom. Subsequently
For
murdered.
the
I saw it on an episode of Forensic Files. It was crazy.
recipe or something like that?
They just knew that his family was rich, so they kidnapped him.
Oh.
But if you didn't recognize the clue from Born in the Rockies, or that one of their owners was named Adolf Coors, and that it's lighter than Jesse's beer, I am in fact drinking a Coors Light.
Yes.
Wow, so
Yay!
light and flavorless.
It's going to be so good.
But this beer is very nostalgic for me, reminiscent, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was my first legal beer, like I'm saying, like I said. I was born September 20th, and on the 19th of September, me and my dad went to a Dropkick Murphys concert in Pittsburgh, and boy, was it good. It was downtown in Pittsburgh at this pretty cool little venue, but we went to this bar across the street called Jerome Bettis's Grill.
Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, he was that running back for the Steelers way back in the day.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought he played for the Ravens.
I had a deep fried burger there.
That sounds pretty good.
And when I say deep fried, I mean like they battered the
literally-
entire bun and dropped the whole burger in the...
They battered the entire burger.
Including the bun. So it's like, it comes cut in half, but there's like batter around the entire thing.
Oh my gosh. That
It
sounds
was-
like a heart attack waiting to happen.
It was, but it was so good.
It sounds pretty good, too.
And my dad ordered a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. I was like, I want one. But technically, I was not 21 yet, so I did not have that. We went to the Dropkick Murphys concert. It was really good, awesome as per usual.
Yep.
And then we came home, and we got home like right after midnight, and my dad said, "Want a beer?" And I was like, "Yes, please." Okay. And so the only beer he had in our fridge was Coors Light, because it was. A lot of my family likes light beer, like my extended family. No disrespect to you guys, if any of you are listening, which I doubt any of you are, because you guys don't care about me. Just kidding, just kidding. We got lots of family love. But it's light beer is generally an easy pick, and for some reason we had a ton of Coors Light over like left over from probably the Christmas before, so it was like 9 months old at this point in time.
Gosh.
Which light beer probably doesn't go bad. I don't know.
Nah, I doubt it.
So
I mean, there's probably an expiration date, but
he brought up a 12-ounce can from the basement, and we were sitting there at the table, and we enjoyed a nice Coors Light together. It was fun.
there you go.
I was like, wow, this is flavorless, but I'm happy to enjoy it. My first legal beer with Dave.
Nice.
So I'll always think of that when I have a Coors Light, which is rarely ever do I have a Coors Light.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's pretty much it, though. You know what?
we will give you our description of the beer, but don't.
Yeah.
I already know what this is going to be like, so here it goes.
so
We're both drinking out of Tall Boys. Look for our
taller boys.
Taller Boys. Look for our picture on Instagram. It'll show what we think about our beers.
Yeah.
And Jesse's actually drinking his straight from the can, but I'm going to pour mine into a
Oh yeah, I probably could have gotten
Oktoberfest
a glass.
Stein.
Oh well.
Well, just drink it from the can. I'm drinking mine from the Stein
I
because
will.
I love the Stein.
All right, let's see here. Well, it smells just like just like you think a lager would smell. Not too great, and it's definitely smells kind of bland in a way.
Mine kind of smells. Yeah, mine smells like it smells like beer, but not really. Like it. When you have an IPA, you smell hops. When you have a stout, you smell malts and roasty.
Right. Roasty malties.
Yeah.
With this, you just kind of smell like a really bland lager scent, which is not to say that it smells bad, but it just doesn't smell interesting at all.
At one point in time, I had beer flavored jelly beans,
And this is probably what it smelled
and this is
like
what it smelled and
tastes
tasted like. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you say we give it the old
Why don't we give it
motto
the old,
and give it a try?
Yeah, why not?
All right. It's gonna be the sound of cans clinking, so don't expect our glasses to clink. But here it goes. Shibbity-beep-a-doo! It actually made zero sound.
Wait, no, let's try this.
Okay, there we go.
That kind of works.
All right, down the hatch.
All right, let's give this a shot.
Light beer down into my belly. Uh-oh. Well, it tastes exactly as I expected.
Yeah.
Extraordinarily light mouthfeel, extraordinarily light flavor, which is next to none.
Extraordinarily.
It's got a sweetness to it,
That's the biggest thing about these beers.
like a corny, grainy sweetness.
Yeah, it's
that's what you
kinda
get out
like-
of there.
They must have used sweet corn in the recipe.
The hops are very minimal. You can't really tell that they're there at
I
all.
mean-
If I didn't know any better, I'd say there's no hops in here. Obviously, there is because that's what makes beer beer. You have to have hops.
balance it in some
But
way.
this is not balanced with hops per my taste.
The body is very thin. I mean, as to be expected.
Like seltzer water.
No, I mean,
A little thicker than seltzer. I don't know.
a lot thicker than seltzer water,
But not much. It's like a canoe because it's pretty close to water.
Yeah, what's the joke?
Well,
There's a lot of
it's
some
a dirty
swearing in
joke
it.
about it. I'm not gonna. We won't tell right now. It's pretty dirty.
yeah,
It's dirty in
you're right.
general.
Yeah, I forgot about the beginning part.
All right. Well, we're gonna continue to drink these as we discuss our albums. Do you want me to go first? I feel like mine's got a little bit more substance. So
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
since the beer doesn't have very much substance, let's start with a substantial album. All right. So the album I listened to, like I said before, is called Reunion by Fiction Family.
Yep.
In fact, it might actually be called Fiction Family Reunion
I think it is.
by Fiction Family.
The first album was called Fiction Family.
Yeah.
By Fiction Family.
So it's Fiction Family Reunion. So for those of you who don't know anything about this band, it is comprised mainly of two members, though they have touring and recording members as well.
Yep.
But they're not as important as the two main players. So we'll just call them a duo. John Foreman from Switchfoot and Sean Watkins.
From Nickel Creek.
Yes, Sean Watkins is from a band called Nickel Creek.
Yeah.
So I didn't know who Nickel Creek was, so I gave them a little searchy search on the
Little searchy search.
the Wikipedia and the Spotify and the interwebs. So Nickel Creek is a three-piece bluegrass band
Okay, yeah.
comprised of Sean Watkins, his sister Sarah Watkins. Sean plays guitar and sings. His sister plays violin and sings.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
then
thought.
a mandolin player named Chris Thiel.
Chris Thiel.
His name's either that or Thiele or Thiele.
It's probably Thiel.
Thile. Chris Thiel. I always called him Thiel, but I never knew how to pronounce it.
Thiel, I don't know.
I knew him from Chris Thiel from Punch Brothers. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're kind of like a progressive, like bluegrass band, which is a weird style.
Yeah, that sounds kind of interesting.
But also, he did a lot of work on the Inside Llewyn Davis soundtrack. He played a lot and sang a lot on there.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And he is the most virtuosic, fantastic mandolin player I have ever heard in my life. Look him up on YouTube, Chris Thiel. mandolin, and it's just, he blows me out of the water how good he is with the mandolin.
That's a great movie. If you haven't seen Inside
Llewyn Davis, look it up. It's
very,
fantastic.
very
It's a
good.
Coen Brothers movie, very
Yeah.
slice of life. But Chris Steele's great. And the three of them were in what did I say? Nickel Creek, which is a bluegrass band. Like I said, very harmonically driven, melodically driven, super poppy, and is a bluegrass band, but you don't have the twangy voices.
Okay,
you get these
interesting.
nice, like, I don't know, regular, like, mainstream sounding voices, which
Okay,
I like.
yeah.
Because I like bluegrass music, but I don't like the twangy voice. So,
What do you mean by twangy voice?
like country sounding, like
Well.
Hank Williams. Hear the lonesome whippoorwill.
Whippoorwill.
Just the southern twang that you hear in country music.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not necessarily my cup of tea. Punch Brothers are good. I actually think I like Nickel Creek better than Fiction Family after listening to them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's
Interesting.
very interesting. I'll show you some of their stuff later, and I think
Okay.
you'll really like them.
Okay.
Also, I think I like Switchfoot better than Fiction Family.
Well, yeah.
Not to say that Fiction Family's not good. I really like this album. So Fiction Family is a folky soft rock
Yeah, I'd say so.
alternative type band.
I mean, like, yeah, like, I would say alternative. Like, it's not like saying folky soft rock doesn't mean there's like
It's-
no drums or no electric guitar.
No, obviously not.
But it's just not like the
It's not-
conventional type of rock that you would expect.
And it's not the conventional folk that you'd expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a nice melding
Kind of like
of
a mix
the
between
two.
It's like alternative folk rock.
Yeah.
I guess is a good way to say it.
But all around, the album's very catchy. So let's delve in, shall we? Yeah, we shall! All right, the first song is called Avalon.
Avalon. This is the song that I thought had an alcohol reference in it.
It kind of does, but we'll touch upon that later. The song
Okay.
is about one of the neighborhoods in my school district called Avalon. It's right next to Ben Avon in Emsworth.
Oh.
No, it's not. I actually found what it actually... Do you know what Avalon is, the place? I learned about it. Avalon is a mythological island
Okay.
in the Arthurian? How do you pronounce that? Like King Arthur? Arthurian legends.
Arthurian, yeah.
I believe that's where Excalibur was forged, and this was where there was one point in time where Arthur was severely injured and weak, and they took him here to heal. So this was his place of healing. So does that make a little bit of sense?
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and I'm actually glad that I was able to research that.
Yeah,
it
that
helped
makes,
out big time.
That makes a lot more sense now.
So he's not specifically like referencing the story of King Arthur, but he's using the idea of finding something to heal.
Somewhere to heal, yeah.
Yeah. And this song is sang by John Foreman. Mm-hmm. They don't really share vocals on songs. Sometimes the other will do harmonies,
they do
but
harmonies, yeah.
one always takes lead vocals, and this one
Yeah.
just happens to be lead by John Foreman. The first thing I noticed was the awesome arpeggiated guitar, and I'm assuming it was played by Sean because in his music from
Does he do a
Nickel
lot of
Creek,
that?
he's got a lot of virtuosic stuff that's
Really?
like really all over the place, like really good playing. Like when you hear it, you'll be like,
So is
holy crap.
is his play like the guitar and this is like way dumbed down
On some of the songs.
comparatively, or okay?
On some of the songs. But the guitar part's really catchy and really cool. And
Now
then-
that one line makes sense. Starts to feel like mythology.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
So like I said, it's a reference to that island. But he's essentially saying that we search for elixirs and outside sources to try and get through pain and struggle and try to feel human and try to feel like yourself.
There's a slight reference to alcohol.
Yes, that is the only reference to drinking on the whole album, I think. Where the line is, so we raise our glasses and drink to our health. ... And a little bit later, no elixir in sight that could make me feel like myself. And I know that you at one point at one time said that there's a line that says,
it really
"I can hear that gin calling me."
It really sounds like gin.
It says, "I can hear legend calling me."
Legend calling me. That's
Get
so
it?
funny.
Now it makes sense to the Avalon
It
reference.
sounded so
Jesse-
much like I can hear that gin calling me.
He thought they were talking about gin. They're just talking about Arthurian legends.
That's really what I thought it said. It sounds so much like that gin.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, that gin.
That gin. But
Well, because like I never thought I needed to look up the lyrics because it sounded so much like that gin.
in Jesse's defense, it does sound like that. And I researched the lyrics on multiple different sources just to confirm that was correct, and it is.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Let me give you my rating for this.
Okay.
This is the most simple rating out of the rest of the rating. Family of 4.
Family of 4?
I am giving ratings in family units
Okay.
because it's fiction family.
Okay, so is that like
That's very good. I recommend this
normal
song.
family?
Yeah,
Is that
normal.
what you're saying?
It's very good.
okay?
But as you'll see, even ones that aren't like conventional still are really good.
Are you saying family of 4 because that's what your family is?
Yeah, and I like it.
Okay,
That doesn't mean that any other family unit is worse because, as you'll see
that's
in my
what you're
ratings,
used to.
in my ratings later, you'll see that I value all families.
Okay.
But I
Even
recommend
even
this
the
one.
fictional one.
Yes, even the fictional one. So on to song number 2, which is called
Who doggy?
Gwilt, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced.
No, it's called Guilt. I jest.
Oh, you jester.
Though this is the second song, it is the first song that Sean Watkins sings.
Yes, that's very true.
The first of many.
Wait, did you recommend that last one?
I did. I recommended Avalon.
Did you say that?
Yes.
I must have not been listening.
No, you're too concerned with my family unit rating system.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I also recommend Guilt.
Okay, that's a really good song.
It's a really good song, and I'll give you my rating here. Family of 4 with 1 in the oven.
That's ridiculous.
It gets better.
With 1 in the oven.
So this song I think is a little faster, and
For those of you who don't know what that means,
Yeah.
it means that the mother is pregnant again. She's got a bun in her oven.
he doesn't mean like a bun of bread in the oven in the kitchen. He
Plus
means
one more.
he means a growing child in her belly.
Yes. Well, not in her belly, but you get the idea.
That's what
we'll call it belly.
under the belly region. This is not an anatomically correct podcast per se.
Give me a W.
W.
Give me an O.
O.
Give me an M.
M.
Give me a B.
At Wombat.
Yep, that's right.
Anyways, this song's faster and a lot more straightforward, I'd say, than the last song, arrangement-wise.
Yeah.
Instead of having
How
like
does it start out
arpeggiated
again?
guitars, and it's got guitar chords and a bass that's kind of driving and a regular kick drum going. Yes.
But instead I lingered.
The lyrics.
He's got a high voice too.
The lyrics on the hook are sometimes guilt just ain't enough.
Sometimes guilt just ain't enough.
Sometimes guilt just
Ain't enough to do.
So I think, and I feel like I'm pretty safe in thinking this, that he means guilt is a good and natural feeling, but it's there in order for us to react and rectify the reason that we feel the guilt.
Yeah.
Because just simply feeling guilt's not going to help or change anything. Like if you feel guilt, you feel it for a reason.
You feel it for a reason. So you
Yeah,
have
so
to
do
react
something
to
about
that.
it. Don't
Yeah.
just feel guilty because that's counterproductive.
Yeah, and what's the? I don't know if. Do you know if Nickel Creek is
Christian?
Are like Christian?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe they are.
So because there's that one line in this song where he says,
Talking about
like
the preacher?
TV preacher spitting fear or something like that.
Talking about fire and brimstone
Smoke
type
and
deal.
fire, all I hear, or something like that.
So that'll make you feel guilt. But if you only
Yeah.
feel guilt, that's not going to change anything.
Yeah, and then
It
it goes
talks
back
about-
into sometimes guilt just ain't enough.
The
Guilt
first
just
verse
ain't
talks about him
enough.
seeing something and covering his eyes, but peeking through and still seeing whatever the horrible thing is that he's seeing.
Yeah.
And so guilt, just simply witnessing and feeling guilt's not enough.
Yeah, you gotta act on it. You gotta figure out what you want to do and then act on it.
Yeah, but I thought that was a really cool message, like a pretty
Yeah.
cool call to action. Not like a very direct call to action, but something that we should do in general.
Yeah.
But like I said, I recommend this. Very good song, super catchy. Song number 3 is called Up Against the Wall. I did not recommend this song.
Wow.
And I gave it Family with One Kid, which is
Okay.
very happy and a great time. I know tons of families that have just one kid, and they
But
have
maybe the
heck
parents
of a time.
But maybe the parents want to get another little bun in the oven, make their family bigger and better.
But they just haven't.
They just haven't yet. They're hesitating.
This song,
I like that song.
Up Against the Wall,
I'm up against the wall.
it's catchy and it's
Ding,
good.
ding,
It's John
ding,
Foreman
ding,
sings it,
ding.
and it's a little bit more stripped back. And I think
Yeah.
he's referring to how we can only love in an unperfect sense, no matter how hard we try. One of the lines in the chorus is Our love is a puzzle that can't be solved.
Our love is a puzzle that can't be solved. Yeah.
It's very catchy. It's somber,
Yeah.
but I don't recommend it. So let's
Slower,
move on.
it's slower, and
Yeah, still a very good song. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but next song they pick up the pace big time, man.
this is where the really. Is this the first song with drums?
No, there are drums in
Or where
Guilt.
drums like intro it though.
Yes, drums intro this song. And that's what I said. Well, John also sings this song, but the beginning drums remind me of the song Everything's Magic by Angels and Airwaves. I'll show you that after this podcast. You'll be like, whoa. If you speed it up and beef it up, this song's Everything's Magic, at least drum-wise. I did not recommend this song.
I'm surprised by that.
I figured that you would think...
song.
I think it's a very good song. I almost recommended it. It's super duper catchy, very poppy, and it's faster. It sounds like it's... If they had any singles on this album, this probably was it.
I don't think they did. I think they just kind of released it.
That's what I think too, but I'm saying if they had a single, this would be it.
Right,
like I could hear this being on the radio.
I don't remember them releasing any singles for it. Or for their first album either.
Makes sense because they weren't like
they don't
trying
really
to,
need it. Like,
they weren't trying to get
this.
Like,
Yeah, like this
press.
was,
They just wanted to do a side project to tour and play.
This was just a side project for both of them.
And it's a fun, really like awesome album. And I think this song he's trying to talk about a relationship with a girl that's being threatened by like glamorous life, like Los Angeles. Like you can have Los Angeles, just give me back my girl. It's catchy. Here's the rating I gave it.
You can have your angels, just give me back my girl.
City of Angels. Yeah.
Yeah. L.A. Yep.
Here's my rating. Family with one kid and an uncle who sometimes overstays his welcome.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
In the way that the songs are interpretable, you can interpret what that means, I guess.
Okay.
But I really like that song. I almost recommended it, but
yeah, I would assume that it was pretty close.
The next song is called Damaged, song number 5.
Damaged.
I recommended this song. This is my third and final recommendation.
It's a good song.
And it's my favorite song on the album.
Really?
Yes. Here's my rating. It's a loving nuclear family with a dog, just because that's what I grew up with, and it reminds me of honest and familiar things.
Well, yeah, and this song is very honest.
And I will touch upon that.
Song about being honest.
Yes.
And not...
Well, it's a song about not being honest and why that's bad.
Right, but implying that you should be honest.
Yeah. So this song is sung by Sean. So we just had 2 songs sung by John, and now we're back to Sean. And funny thing, on the Wikipedia page, I read that at one point in time they wanted to name their band The Real Sean John.
The Real Sean John?
Yeah, because you know Sean John, the guy from back. They wanted to get sued by him or something like that, so they was pretending like that, and then they ended up being Fiction Family.
That's pretty funny.
And they even talked about like Fiction Family, like the name... Like they're a fake family, like the two of them.
Yeah.
Because they both came from bands that they played in with siblings. Like John Foreman's got his brother in Switchfoot, and Sean has his sister Sarah. So it's, they have bands with their family. So this is their Fiction Family almost. So it's kind of interesting. Not to say it's the only reason why it's called that, but an interesting thought.
It was probably just like, oh, why don't we just call it this? Yeah.
But back to the song Damaged. It's about not wanting people to see your dark sides or your baggage. And it's very clear. The main line is, I am damaged and I don't want you to know.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of allusions. I'm going to read a couple of them because I really like them.
Yeah, same here.
So there's, and I'm not going to read the whole song, but in the first verse he talks about, under bandages are wounds I'll never show. So he's talking about like literally being damaged physically by whatever it was in his past, and he's covering them up with bandages, and he'll never show them off because he wants to keep them hidden.
Yep.
In the second verse, he says, there are many pictures hung up on my wall, ... I take some of them down before you come around. So he's talking about hiding things that he...
Hiding things that he... Like, hiding who he really is.
Yes.
Hiding what he really likes, or what he what he's passionate about. Or
the imagery of the last verse is my favorite, because he takes...
Let me see if it's one that I really like, too.
He takes... I want to say like 2 different metaphors and puts them together. The metaphor of a house and the metaphor of music. So he talks about the house and how there are like rotten boards inside, but he paints the outside with major chords.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that almost is like a meta reference, because this song's kind of dark, but it's got like this really like cool, really happy sounding chords.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of Less Than Jake, because they have a lot of like really depressing songs that sound really happy.
Yeah.
So he's hiding all this darkness with major chords.
I forgot about that line. I paint the outside with only major chords.
Mm-hmm. I love that line.
I forgot about that line.
Super catchy. And gall darn it, there's a dominant 7th chord, like 5/7 chord in there that's just so good.
Yeah.
It's just so catchy.
I also really like the line. It's propaganda. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm damaged and I don't want you to know.
So good. I love this song.
That's a great song, yeah.
But
So are those your three?
Those are my 3 recommendations. Are you surprised that I picked Sean Watkins songs more than John Foreman songs?
Not really, because I also really like the Sean Watkins songs as well.
Going into this, I'll touch upon this at the end. My expectations.
Okay.
Well, screw it. I'll touch upon it now. I was more familiar with John Foreman. I really like John Foreman going into this, so I was almost more focusing on his songs.
Right. So you were like biased almost at the beginning.
I was biased, very much so, and then hearing his Sean Watkins songs, I slowly started getting attached.
So you were like, I should check out Nickel Creek.
Yes, I did, and he's pretty awesome. And in Nickel Creek, the 3 members take turns taking lead vocals.
Okay.
But they can harmonize.
Like none other.
Like none other. It's so good.
Sweet.
Song number 6 is called God Badge.
I like this song a lot.
If I had to guess, I would say the song was sung by John. And what do you know? It's sung by John.
If you had to guess.
I gave this a rating of a family of 3 with a cat.
Oh.
I'm not a big fan of cats.
Oh.
But they can be nice.
Oh.
But I do like this song.
I
like a cat, but I don't want to own one.
Like my friend Austin's cat. His name's Duplo. They had 2 cats.
What a weird name.
When we were growing up in high school.
Reminds me of those Duplo blocks.
Let me tell you this.
Oh.
I'm allergic to cats as well, and so whenever I went over to their house, I would always get all stuffed up and my eyes would water. But Duplo was Austin's cat, and he was really funny and calm, and he would always roll over and let you pet his belly.
He probably loved that.
But their upstairs cat, his name was Lego.
Oh,
so it was Lego and Duplo.
So Lego was way
so
better.
So there was no, Lego was crazy.
Oh,
there were times when they would watch our dog Dixie, and and our dog Dexter too. They would chase Lego around the house.
Lego probably
really funny.
That.
But
I'm sure all of you know, but Legos are everyone's favorite building blocks,
and Duplos
are the big, chunky ones that little kids play with.
Yeah.
The
worst ones.
Yeah, they were fun, but Legos are way better. Do you ever go on E-Bombs World back in the day? You remember that website?
What?
E-Bombs World.
E-Bombs?
Yeah, BAUM. It was a bunch of games and
BAUM.
Yes, and funny videos. But there was a video that
about
a dancing cat. And the cat would dance and would say, "Cat, I'm a kitty cat." And I dance, cat, I'm a kitty cat. And I meow, 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 meow. After this, I'll show you. And if I can find it again, we'll post it on the website. It was so funny.
That must have been before we had the internet, because we didn't get dial-up until...
This was when we had dial-up. Originally.
When did you guys get dial-up?
I was at elementary school, maybe preschool.
Elementary, okay.
My dad was a computer guy, so he always he would try to get.
We didn't get dial-up until I was in junior high.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
And so I probably missed all those weird websites.
Yeah, it was a goofy website that me and my buddies used to look.
Did you ever go on Homestar Runner?
Yes.
That website is so funny.
Steve.
Coach Steve.
Yeah.
Some chiaroscuro shading.
There was They Might Be Giants had a video on that website.
Trapdoor. Really?
Called Experimental Film. I don't know if you ever saw that one. I'll show you later too. But if I can find that kitty cat song, I'll post it on the link on the website, which is
homestarrunner.net.
Brews and Tunes podcast.com. You heard it here, you heard it first. Brews and Tunes podcast.com.
You heard it here, you heard it first. Yeah.
But we really regressed huge there.
God Badge.
God Badge is sung by John Foreman, and it reminds me of a solo song by John Foreman on his summer EP called "Instead of a Show."
Yeah. Yeah, I can see how you make that connection.
If you guys don't know that, we'll post a link for that song on the website. I know on one of the previous podcasts, I reviewed John Foreman's Fall EP, but on his summer EP, he has a song called "Instead of a Show," and it's thematically kind of similar to this song.
Yeah. I would say you're right about that.
Where they're talking about hollow, showy, ruly religious practices. And it's talking, set aside all those dogmatic religious practices and show some love.
Yeah.
The main hook is put your God badge down and love someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, good song, but not my favorite. Moving on.
I just really like the message.
Oh, I think it's a great message.
Yeah.
I do too. But I needed more than just the message.
Okay.
I'm needy. When it comes to melody.
Do you hate it when people don't call you back?
No, not really. I'm not talking about needy personality. I'm needy for melodies. I need a melody.
You don't hate it when you call somebody and then after a little bit, like they don't call you back?
Not really. I figure they're busy.
But what if it's like a couple days?
I figure they're really busy. If it's like urgent, or like if I send like a message saying please call me back and then they ignore me, maybe then. But because I also have a bad habit of like not replying to text or calls.
Yeah, you do. You never call.
I have a bad habit just because I forget and I'm busy.
Actually,
and sometimes
you
I
do call sometimes.
Yeah.
There was one time I was working and you called me.
It was probably about the podcast or music or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or about a concert.
I rarely call though.
But anyway, what's the next song called?
Next song is called Never Call. Oh,
Did you not realize I was doing that?
no! I was so confused. I do this to you all the time with
Yeah,
song
I know.
titles. Well done, well played, sir. Good job. But the song's called Never Call, and Sean sings this one. I gave this a rating of single parent with 2 live-in grandparents.
Wow.
A great family unit that can show a lot of love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, because obviously there's some hurt there, right? Some hurt because there's a single parent. There's some story going on.
I guess, yeah.
But there's a lot of love still, but anyways, this song's really got some nice metaphors about not being a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read some of the lyrics here in a minute, but it's a pretty simple song. It's vocally driven, like vocal and guitar, pretty simple. But the last line of almost every stanza is, but you've got a friend that you never call.
Yep. So that's kind of like the refrain almost.
Yes. And so they refer to having something and not utilizing it
Yeah.
in a bunch of different ways. For instance, you've got a chair but never sit down. A pair of wings but you stay on the ground. A needle propped up that won't make a sound. A first-class ticket but you won't leave town.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to read that stanza just because they do more stanzas after that.
It's more in general of that. They're like, you have this that could give you the opportunity to do this, but you don't take that opportunity.
You've got a friend that can be a good friend to you, but you don't call.
But you've got
so
a
you're
friend
hurting
that you
yourself
never call.
and somebody else.
Yeah.
Essentially. A good song. I really liked it, but I didn't recommend it. Next song is called Just Rob Me.
Did you recommend one more?
No, I only did 4.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get through these quickly then.
Okay. The song's called Just Rob Me. It's John Foreman's song.
Because again, we want the listeners to listen to the albums as well.
Yes. So you guys listen. The song's called Just Rob Me. I gave it a rating of 2 parents who don't want kids.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite song.
It's not my favorite song either. It's kind of funny, but
it's
not
the
my
only
favorite
real song that's story driven. So that's very folky story driven about a girl who is a bad robber, so he lets her rob him.
Yeah,
Weird.
and then they start a fam. It's like it's definitely like a story.
It's funny.
The whole
It's
thing.
funny.
It's
Goofy,
kind of funny,
but
but
take it or leave it. It's not my favorite.
Same here.
The next song is called Reality Calls.
Reality calls.
Sean sings this one.
You like
It
the
reminds me
chords?
of a Randy Newman song. You know
Oh,
Randy
yeah,
Newman?
yeah.
Like with the
You
chords.
like
Yes.
the chord choices?
That's what made me think of Randy Newman.
the chord choices.
The chord choices and the melody over the chord choices.
Reality calls.
It's a funny song about a guy
let
who's
it ring.
in denial
Yeah, and he's like
about a girl who
what's-
only wants a one night fling. Essentially,
What's one of the lines where he's like, something about fall, but I'm still
Stuck in
dressed for spring,
spring,
or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
I gave this a rating of a parent with 1 kid and a goldfish. Because it's like a step below a cat. Am I right? I like goldfish. Don't get me wrong, but that's a step below a cat. Cats eat goldfish.
I took a drink at the worst time. I was not expecting the goldfish part.
In song number 10, I'm going to say this is the last song because technically there are bonus tracks, but I'm not going to touch upon them.
No, I never listened to the bonus tracks either.
This song is called Fool's Gold. I like the
Fool's
song.
Gold.
John sings it. The
kind of
rating I gave it is a parents with 1 kid and 4 turtles. You know what those turtles are called.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't touch
do.
upon that, but you guys know too. If you don't know, then...
If you don't know, that's too bad. You're missing out on some great stories.
Yeah, but the song's a reminiscent song.
Yeah.
I think it's about getting old and losing the fire.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of...
The main hook, like the lyric hook is in the ashes of rock and roll.
Yeah.
In
But-
the ashes of rock and roll.
I think it's probably more about thinking that, like, one thing can really solve your problems and really, like, investing everything in one aspect of life and then
it'll fizzle out
realizing...
and not be the solution.
Yeah, and then realizing that, like, that's maybe not everything to life. You know,
Yeah.
there are more aspects. There are more things that could also fulfill you than just one thing.
In summary, this was a
And-
good album.
But that
Oh,
song
you're
has
still-
some kind of good lyrics in it though, like where he references like Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah,
Bob Dylan.
and
One
you look
point in
like one
picture
Bob
from
Dylan's
Bob Dylan's,
disciple.
yeah.
But I really like that song in general.
It's a good song.
So I would say
I wouldn't recommend it, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, I would say I would give that an honorable mention, which I did again this week. I haven't done it in the past weeks, the honorable mentions.
The only honorable mention I would say is "Give Me Back My Girl." Mm-hmm. All in all, this was a very good album. I'm very happy that I listened to it. I'm going to check out their first album, but I'm also going to listen to a lot of Nickel Creek after this.
Yeah, I probably should too.
You would like them. They're good.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's enough about the band that doesn't sing about alcohol on the alcoholic episode. Let's get a little bit more in tune with the theme this week.
Okay, well,
I don't want no little fish.
I want a real big fish.
What?
The band, Real Big Fish, the album Turn the Radio Off. I'm going to start off with track 1, 5 out of 5, recommended. That's called Sellout.
Which is their biggest song
Yeah.
ever.
I guess I should probably give a little bit of background about this band. If you don't know who Real Big Fish is, they are a ska band. Mm-hmm. Very much a ska band.
Literally a ska band from the 90s big ska wave.
Yeah, and like there's one of the songs that says, "It's a ska band."
Yep.
So that means there's going to be a lot of upstrokes on the clean guitar, and there's going to be a lot of walking bass lines. There's going to be a lot of saxophone. There's going to be a lot of trombone, trumpet.
If you don't know what ska is, think of reggae.
That's kind of there's actually
Like a
song.
faster
There's actually
reggae.
kind of like a song about reggae.
Yeah.
SR is the song title. I like that song, but I didn't recommend it. Anyway, the first song is called Sellout. It's a super great album opener. Mm-hmm. And
It's such a melodic, like
yeah,
a memorable horn line.
yeah.
Super.
There are quite a few of those in this album.
Yes, there are.
Basically, this song is about
Selling out.
selling out, pretty much. Yeah, a signing with a record label,
A major label.
a major label. Yeah, and but not wanting. Well, because I guess in the song he has a job at a fast food place, flipping burgers and wearing a silly hat.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't want to
work in
yeah.
fast food all your life, but don't sign that paper tonight. She said, but it's too late because he signed the paper to. Does everybody know what selling out is?
Yeah,
In regards to music.
I guess. Why don't you explain it?
All right. If you're gonna go by what a lot of punk rockers call sellout, it would mean signing to a major label. Because there's a punk rock, like an independent mentality that if you go to a major label, you're doing it for money. Yeah. What I think selling out is to
changing your style of music.
Not necessarily. It's to change your style of music only because you're getting money to do it.
Right.
If someone's telling you do this because it's going to make us lots of money.
So like a record label saying you need to make songs that have this type of message and this type of sound. Do that.
That's selling out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with signing to a major label making money.
As long as
if you're in a band and that's your career, if you can keep your integrity, that's a good thing.
So do you think like Goo Goo Dolls? They like were a punk band, but then they kind of went to like ballads?
I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that because I don't really know much about Goo Goo Dolls.
Same.
Let me think of.
That's just the only one that I can kind of think of that was a good example of really major shift in there.
Here's this thing. Have you ever heard about Gilman Street in, I think it's in San Francisco, like a punk venue?
No.
It's a huge punk venue, like not like size-wise, but notoriety-wise.
Right.
Underground punk venue in San Francisco. Like Green Day used to play there, Rancid. They will not let a band play on their stage that's signed to a major label.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The lead singer of Dead Kennedys got beat up in their audience because he was popular.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
that's
like
insane.
it's that kind of mentality that's really stupid.
Yeah, that is kind of a dumb mentality.
Why not make money for doing your job?
But if you're gonna change your music,
like
to fit what people, my biggest thing is if you start writing music, to please people, like if you start writing music that you're like, oh wait, this isn't catchy enough. Like I need to write something more catchy because then people.
That's not too.
No, but because then people will like it and then people will buy it and then I'll make more money. Like that's kind of lame.
Even then, I don't really think it's lame. I think it's if somebody tells you have to change and then giving into it, that's selling out. Because like living in Nashville, we know about the songwriting career, and those people, songwriters are great people. Like that's their job is to write catchy music.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean it's like they don't feel what they write. Or
I guess what I'm saying is whenever you
sacrifice your artistic
as a songwriter, because we both are.
Yeah,
technically,
yeah.
Whenever you start thinking about, oh wait, will people like this? Should I be writing like this style or should I be writing like this? Will people like this? Like we're not in a popular band or anything like that. But
even then, I don't think I agree with you 100%.
But even if you are, like, if you start writing songs and in the back of your mind you start thinking, wait a second, is this going to be good? Like, will people think this is catchy? Or am I doing this? Like, if you start changing the way you write songs based on the fact that, like, you might not make any more money or you might not, like, your fans might not like it, like, that's not good.
See,
because even a prime example right now is Frank Turner. Did you listen to the new song?
Yeah.
Like, that's very different.
But he said it was Arkells inspired.
Right.
See, but here's where I disagree with you. I think there's nothing wrong with trying to come up with a song that's catchy that you want to... Being in a band is a business. Obviously, you need something that's going to sell and people will relate to. So that's a very important aspect, but it should not be the sole driving factor. If it's the sole driving factor...
That's what I'm saying.
And, okay, if you're saying that's the only reason why you're doing that, then I believe that's selling.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
They're like, if you say...
I don't think Frank's selling out with that new song.
No, I'm not saying he is. But what I'm saying is that
a lot of people are saying he is.
A lot of people are saying that, like, oh, what the heck, he's changing.
There's no more acoustic guitars.
And, like, that's fine if you change. Like, that's good. Like, he's obviously wanting to take a different direction in his music, which is a natural thing for a band to do. Like, you look at a band like U2, they have changed completely since, like, Joshua Tree.
I wouldn't say they've sold out.
No, they've adapted.
But there are bands like Pennywise who have never changed ever.
Yeah.
Change is natural. You can't get mad at a band for changing. Anytime, like Blink-182 sold out after Dude Ranch. Technically, that's what people say.
Oh, right.
So it's selling out's a weird topic, but that's all we'll say about that.
It really is kind of a strange topic.
If you guys feel strongly about it, tell us.
I mean, like, I would say that I don't know if a lot of people thought that maybe Switchfoot sold out with his most recent album.
I don't know.
Kind of like some of the songs felt like safe or.
Well, the one single. Live It Well seems like a CCM song.
Yeah.
But I like that song.
Yeah.
Because I even though it seems like a CCM, like, safe song, it feels genuine to me.
Yeah.
Like, coming from them.
And I guess that's really the big thing is that as long as your music sounds genuine and real, then hopefully listeners will realize that.
Go to a live show. You'll see if they're a sellout or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're phoning it in, as you say.
I think less people are sellouts than people think.
Right.
Yeah, it's just an easy term to throw around when you're unhappy with an album.
Yeah, but that kind of makes sense.
Anything else to say about that song, Sellout, even though we had that huge gress?
No.
It's a very good song.
It's a super good song. I recommended it.
It's a trendy song, you know?
It is On to track number 3. No, just kidding. Track number 2 is called Trendy. I really don't like this song.
I like this song a lot.
What's the... Everybody's doing the fish... Yeah.
It's not so bad being trendy. Everybody who looks like me is my friend.
I don't know. It's just kind of like goofy.
It's very goofy. That's the whole point, though.
I gave it a 3 out of 5. That's all I want to say about that.
Fair enough.
Track number 3 is called Join the Club. It's a song about starting a band and being like, we're doing just what everybody else does. So blah, blah, blah. We're starting a band.
Yeah, this song's all right.
I liked it more than track number 2. I gave it 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Track number 4 is called She Has a Girlfriend Now.
This song's so funny.
This song is really funny.
Yes, it is.
I'm not going to elaborate on it. You guys check it out for yourself.
She has a girlfriend now. She broke up with him because now she has a girlfriend. It's a hilarious
song. It's super funny. I give it 4 out of 5.
I thought this one... I almost thought maybe you'd recommend this song, but I wasn't sure. It's a funny song.
It is really catchy and it is really funny, but there are better songs. Track number 5 is called Snoop Dogg, baby.
Snoop Dogg!
Snoop Doggy Dog.
It's a weird song.
It's a very strange song. I give it 3 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5. Mm-hmm. It kind of has that reggae feel.
Yes.
Which is what kind of comes back a little bit later as well.
Yeesh.
But on to my next recommendation. Track number 6. The theme of this episode is beer. And this song is called Beer.
Which I believe is the first if I can remember, it's the first reference to alcohol on the album. I don't know if there's any other
I think
afterwards,
so, yeah.
but there's no denying that the song's about beer.
It starts very fast. There's a super great walking bass line, like I mentioned earlier. And I'm not really sure if this song's about a breakup, or if it's about partying in general, or if it's about hooking up with a girl, or if it's about something else.
I think it's about being in a bad relationship and getting drunk to forget it or ignore it.
Okay. But this is definitely my favorite song on the album.
I have mine too.
It's super,
I love this song.
super catchy. My term is glue on my brain. It sticks there.
Yeah, it will murder you because glue on the brain is a death sentence.
It's a death sentence, yeah.
But this song is a life sentence, a life of
anything
happiness.
but a death sentence. It is fantastic.
Yeah, the opposite of death sentence is life sentence. A life sentence of happiness.
Yeah, but if you can't give someone a life sentence because eventually you're going to die.
It's not a death sentence. How about that? That's the opposite of death sentence.
There you go. Track number 7.
It's not bad, but it's
I gave it 2 out of 5. The track is called 241, and the funny thing is,
they say that's the only word they say in the song,
241.
right?
241. Yeah. But the funny thing is that the song is 2 minutes and 40 seconds long.
Well, maybe that's the Google Play version. Who knows? Maybe the actual
I don't know. That's what I was listening on it to.
Anyhow,
it's an
remember
instrumental.
the movie Basketball?
Yes.
Do you remember Real Big Fish being in it?
No.
They're in the movie multiple
Really?
times, and their music's in the movie.
That's pretty cool.
Do you remember the home team's name?
No.
The Beers.
The Beers.
You can buy a basketball jersey that says Beers, and on the back it says, I think it says Real Big Fish under the name, but the number is 241.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's
but
expensive, otherwise I
this song is an instrumental.
Yeah.
And the only reason I gave it 2 out of 5 instead of 1 out of 5 was because there are very cool horn parts throughout.
Yeah,
So
that's why like if an instrumental with like just a bass guitar drum band is a lot more boring. Like the horn parts can at least do a lot more for you. They can add melodies.
Like that's the only reason I gave it 2 out of 5.
Yeah. But enough about that song.
Let's go on to a song that sucks. Just kidding. It's
What?
just called Everything Sucks.
I know.
I gave this song 5 out of 5 and I recommended it, bro.
It's a great song.
Super great song. What I could kind of glean from it is that it's kind of a song about being cynical and thinking that like everything sucks, but realizing it and then saying, I'm not gonna complain about it.
This is gonna be the last time you hear me complain. Fun little piece of trivia.
Okay.
They have a later album called Everything Sucks. And I don't remember if it's on that album or another album, but on some other album other than this, they have a song called Turn the Radio Off.
Oh, okay.
So instead of having like the same name of a song that's the same name of the album, they're on different albums.
That's pretty funny,
Weird.
actually. Kind of cool, though.
Because normally you have a title track on the same album.
Right, exactly.
Not Real Big Fish.
Interesting. That's really all I want to say about that, though. It's a super catchy chorus.
Great song.
It's just a great song in general.
Yeesh.
The next song is an honorable mention.
Okay, I was going to say, I love this song.
S.R.
What's that stand for?
S.R. Suburban Rhythm.
Do you know what Suburban Rhythm is?
No.
It's a band.
Oh, okay.
Why did Ed and Scott quit?
Who's that? Is it the
Member, I guess.
member?
What's up with the boots on your feet?
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of like really funny talky lines.
Yeah. Please don't go. If you ever go to a live show, this is hands down the best song to see.
Really?
They do.
What's up?
This song's probably like what?
It's like a minute and 40 seconds or something like
They
that.
turn into like a 10-minute bit.
Really?
They play it in every genre.
That's pretty cool.
They do a disco version, a death metal version, an emo version, a punk version, a country version. Like, they do the reggae version.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
That's why I like it, because I've seen it a bunch of different times, and they introduce it a bunch of different ways. Like, one time, do you know the Metallica song called Master of Puppets?
Yes.
They said, we're the master of genres. And they would say, Master! And then they would do a different genre. And it was just, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen them live, it's really worth your time to see them live. And I saw them do the 10-year anniversary of this album, where they played it in its entirety.
That's pretty sweet.
It was awesome.
So that song's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's more reggae style and on this album.
Honorable mention.
It's a hum. Track number 10. Don't really like it. It's weird
That's a weird one.
and creepy.
Not my favorite.
It's called Ska. Is it Ska-tanic or Ska-tanic?
Skatanic?
Ska-tanic
don't
or
know.
Ska-tanic?
Ska bands like to do that a lot. Like
Put ska
scatolites or
into things.
scatolites. Like
Yeah.
if there's any word that starts with an A or
Scatolites.
something, they put
Yeah.
ska in the beginning of it.
Yep. So this is instead of satanic, it's Ska-tanic.
Yeah. It's not my favorite.
It's super weird and creepy, and I don't really like it.
Meh.
Track number 11, though, I really like. Recommended it. It's called All I Want Is More.
Oh, I love this song.
And it's basically he had kind of like ruined a relationship because he wasn't satisfied with the girl, even though she was like giving him like a lot and like he really liked her, but he still wanted more.
There's a lot of F words in this song.
Yes, there is.
Not the next song is
is
way
it-
more
is
F
it in
words,
the
but there's a lot
chorus?
in the chorus. Yeah.
What is the chorus again?
Someday, maybe she'll come back to me and I'll say, why don't you go yourself?
Yeah.
And what is that chorus?
Everybody talking.
What does that chorus remind you of?
A Blink song, right?
Yes, Blink-182.
Someday. Just that part.
They put that in the verse of one
Yeah.
song, and it had to be a reference because they had it.
It definitely
For those of you
is.
who don't know, Blink-182 put an album out last year called California, and they referred to a bunch of other punk bands within the album on a
Yeah.
bunch of different songs.
Yeah.
So they have to be referring to this.
It
song.
has to be, yeah.
But this song's fast and punky
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
awesome.
And that, so yeah, I'd recommend that song. Very good. But that brings me to track number 12, which is an honorable mention again, 4 to 5. It's called Nothing.
Really fast.
It's very
Lots of F
fast.
words
It's a short song. It's, a lot of F words.
in the bridge.
But the one line that I really like from it is every time I try so hard, I get nothing, nothing.
Every time I try to I get nothing.
Yeah, so kind of a straightforward message, but I really like it because it's
Yeah.
fast and awesome. All right, track number 13.
I know, we're getting there.
A very funny song. It's kind of a song about making fun of vegans and vegetarians.
Satan. That's a food, right?
Satan.
Satan.
Maybe it's Satan again.
Do you remember that food though? It's like Seiten. Satan.
Oh, yeah,
Like I've
yeah.
had a burrito with Satan in it.
Yeah.
It's a substitute for meat. I think that's what they're talking about, right?
Yeah. But it's really funny because like some of the lines are like, "I feel so bad for this broccoli getting killed," or like just like other really dumb stuff like, "Oh,
They're
man.
just joking.
Oh man, these vegetables are dying. It's terrible."
They are a very satirical band.
Yes, yeah.
Their music,
That's
yeah.
probably something I should have mentioned at the beginning of
Yeah.
my description. They're very satirical, just like the way that the Offspring were in that the album Ixnay on the Hombre.
See,
But that song is pretty good. I gave it 4 to 5. It's pretty hilarious. Track number 14 is called I'll Never Be. I gave this 4 to 5, and it's an honorable mention. And there's a super awesome saxophone part.
I like the sax.
I like the saxophone. But anyway, this song is basically about how he'll never be famous. Like, he'll never be a famous rock and roll star.
And he
Like,
technically
people-
isn't, but
People will never, like, have him on their T-shirt. Like, they'll never have his face in his T-shirt. He'll never be on MTV and, like, be whatever else,
growing up
It's super catchy, though.
in my home in Pittsburgh, I had a signed Real Big Fish T-shirt hanging up on my wall.
Really?
So, but it didn't have his face on it, so I guess that's. But anyway, next song.
Next song is called Alternative Baby. 3.5 out of 5. Catchy, but
Throw it away.
nothing to write home about.
Yeah, really.
Definitely doesn't have a bun in the oven.
Did this album grow on you?
It did, yes.
Because I know early on you were like, I'm not a big fan.
The
Other than like the 2 or 3 songs.
the last track is called Cool Ending.
I think that's just like a bonus track at the end.
I gave it 0 to 5.
Yeah, it's nothing. Like literally, it's just air silence.
But yeah, it did grow on me definitely. Whenever I first started listening to it, I was like, man, I just like Less Than Jake way more.
I think I do too, but
But this album was still pretty good.
yeah,
I definitely, they're definitely both good bands. I think I might like Less Than Jake a little bit more.
I definitely
maybe
like
that's
Less Than
just
Jake more.
because we saw them live recently.
Seeing Real Big Fish live might change your opinion a little bit more, I'd say. But that's aside the point.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah, maybe in the future you'll see him. But
I
either
hope
way,
so. I really hope so.
We're about to finish our beers, so before we do that, let's talk about next week. We're gonna have another
good idea.
themed week.
Yeah,
Can you
we
believe that?
are. Because what comes after 21?
22. Duh.
What is that double of?
2.
Oh.
So
what are we going to do for that?
repeat.
Repeat
If it's a repeat
week.
number, we're going to repeat bands. There are 2 bands that both of us had recommended for the other that we wanted to
Fairly
recommend.
early on, too.
Yes, fairly early on that we wanted to recommend a different album for. And so we're going to take the time for episode number 22 to do just that.
Nice.
So what is it that you're going to make me revisit for a different album for a similar band?
The band that I'm going to make you revisit is Arcade Fire.
What?
And the album is called The Suburbs.
Oh, it sounds a lot more interesting than
So
the Herbs.
What?
The Herbs.
The Herbs?
Yeah, suburb is short for suburban, so herb is short for urban. The Herbs. What up, bro? I'm from the Herbs.
I'm from the Herbs, eh? Oh, no, I'm from the suburbs, eh?
You went Canadian for that.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Let's go get some poutine down in the Herbs, eh?
Yeah, okay, eh? Oh, yeah.
I heard the Maple Leafs are playing in town, eh? Let's grab some
no.
some Molsons and go down to the Herbs, eh?
Some Molsons.
Some Molsons. I don't know what beer they drink. Labatt's Blue, eh?
Labatt's Blue. I doubt they drink any of that.
It's imported here. Who knows?
It's a Canadian beer, but
Who knows?
anyway. Regardless,
so you're gonna have me
the
listen
album
to
is called The Suburbs.
The Suburbs by Arcade Fire.
Yes.
All right, what I'm going to have you listen to is an album called Stranger Than Fiction by the band Bad Religion.
Sweet.
This is the album,
I know one song off this album, right?
probably one, yeah, if not more.
Is this a song that what's
21st Century Digital Boy, you might know that.
maybe
Either that or
one?
Infected. Other than that, you probably don't know
Oh,
anything.
this isn't the album that Suffer is on.
No, Suffer is on Suffer.
Great.
But we're just leaving it to Double's repetition of music. We're gonna have new beers again next week.
Yeah,
new
we're
craft beer.
Yeah.
No more of this
We're not
macro
gonna have
stuff.
any of this terribleness.
Because this Coors Light has tasted the same the whole way through. It's not my favorite.
This Budweiser has gotten worse. As it's gotten warmer.
Like we say, when a beer's colder, it masks the flavor. So if you're having a cheap beer such as what we're having tonight, have it as cold as possible.
Yep. Almost freeze it.
For Coors Light, when the Rockies are blue,
It's okay.
it's a good beer for you. But anyhow, let's
man.
finish our can.
Final thoughts? Do you have final thoughts on?
I have no final
beer?
thoughts. This beer is cheap and it tastes cheap, but it's all right.
Cheap and it tastes cheap.
It gives me a reminiscent. It just reminds me when I had my first beer with my dad.
Yeah.
I like the beer for that reason.
That's a good reason to like it.
So let's clink our 2 cans
let's
together
clink
and
our
finish them.
clans, Clink our clans.
Yes.
Clink our cans and finish it. Ready?
Shibbidi-beep-a-dow! Down the hatch. Once again, my
Just
name
okay.
is Steven Johnston.
And my name is Titus.
That's a weird name to say your name. All right, this has been American Brews and Tunes. Thank you for
We
listening.
will see you all in 2 weeks.
Well, we won't see you, but you'll hear us.
You'll hear us in 2 weeks.
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes.
Shibbity-beeby-da!